Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today is the 2nd of June, 2017, and this literally just fell in my lap, and I'm going to go through this. This is CERN. This is a presentation being given at CERN by artist Cassandra Poirier-Simon, and it's called 𝗲𝗲𝗱. Now, this is an hour, 24 and 17-second long video. Some of it's in broken English, most of it's in French, but this is incredibly telling. First of all, the name is 𝗲𝗲𝗱. Okay, so there's that. Second of all, they're talking, while one of the presenters is talking, they are saying that they're showing images that were taken by the Google car. Now, this is the artist right here that's used this. This gets incredibly interesting because I believe CERN is telling us exactly what I've been telling you right in your face. But first, you see all these letters right here that seem to be in frame? If you take these letters and do this, this is what you come up with. 9 letter long words, 8 letter long, 7, 6, and so on and so on. Now there's some odd words in here and there, but I was really looking for something with 9 letters long. I was looking for recreate, but it doesn't quite cut it. Now also, when you look at this, these letters seem to be in bold, and these are in a dull gray with a dot. So there's that. But I'm not going to get stuck on this right now unless some sort of epiphany comes to me later and I figure it out. But at any rate, this woman, the stuff that they're going to cover is staggering. So I'm going to try to walk you all through it. Now she's talking and showing the Google map car driving through CERN, and that's what she keeps referring to. She refers to this as an ICS portal, so forth and so on. But here's an image of CERN from above, and you notice it's the same 8-pointed wheel that CERN itself is, as well as the sundial obelisk sitting in front of St. Peter's Basilica. But I digress. Listen.
The tool in the short term was Google Street View, because it has an API ready, and also the public can see it, while the GIS is restricted to people inside CERN.
Now, let's take a look at this workshop she's talking about. It's called Thinking Alleys, the workshop. And there's 4 points on here. One is past building blocks of the future. Number 2 is called Visitors from the Future. Yeah. Number 3, Street View game. Number 4, Timelines in Space. So, this is going to be a long video because this is a long video. So, listen to what she has to say about this and how she explains this right here. They are disclosing whether you want to hear it or not. If you think CERN is some happy, super fun machine and they're figuring out all sorts of crazy cosmic riddles, so forth and so on, that's great. But think about this. This is the world's biggest, most powerful, most expensive machine, and for all the wars and all the scuffles and all the bans and boycotts we have against every country, everyone's involved in this. CERN has its own money, much like the Vatican. So there's that. But listen.
So the workshop, it was called Thinking Alise. So I'm more accustomed to longer workshops, but here the 2 times 3 hours duration that I wanted to propose was too much commitment, so we reduced this to 2 hours. There were 12 participants, and they worked in 3-people teams. I proposed that they use Google Street View as a playground where they'll place their stories. Since we didn't have much time, I asked them to jump on the first idea they had. So I will now present you the 4 projects. Past building blocks of the future. So the team was composed by Tamara Vasquez-Schroeder, Melissa Gaillard.
Now, real quick, just take note of the striking resemblance of Aleister Crowley's 7-pointed star, the star that you see through all black magic. Occultists use it all the time, everywhere. Just take note of that because it's one of the first things that caught my eye. Because it's not a perfect star, and yet there it is right there in the middle of the street. But I digress.
As I will read you the note written by Tamara. So the physics that can be done nowadays at CERN is only conceivable thanks to the
Just a little side note, every time I try to make a video, I said this again yesterday, it seems that people that I don't communicate with, people that I don't even respond to, are constantly sending me Skype messages, and it's very annoying. So please don't. It's like knocking on my door while I'm having a meeting. Happens all the time. But again, I digress.
That previous scientists have made in the understanding of nature.
So what she's saying real quick, at the CERN facility, they have a bunch of streets named after Einstein, named after Wolfgang, named after physicists, so forth and so on that came before them. But she is going to get to the visitors from the future, and they're talking about it because you know what? That's exactly what it is they're doing. CERN they didn't build the world's biggest, strongest, most powerful machine on the face of the planet with every country involved to simply recreate the moments after the Big Bang, because the Big Bang is a theory. It isn't proven. It's not real. And it doesn't even make any sense. One day there was nothing, and then nothing exploded and created everything. Think about that. Say that to a child who hasn't yet been indoctrinated in kindergarten, preschool, first grade, whatever, and see what their answer is. And chances are, you're going to figure out what the answer is. At any rate, again, I digress.
CERN celebrates the work from our predecessors, naming various streets inside of CERN after scientists that have left their impact in the history of particle physics. So, for example, here we are in the street named 𝗏𝗲𝗱, so it's here. With this project based on Google Maps, the virtual visitor is greeted from entrance B to restaurant 1, meeting the outstanding personalities from the past that are remembered by the street names from different times and different places.
So they're giving accolades, they're giving respect to people that came from the past, and that's fine. Everybody does that. If you build something, you always think of your predecessor or the person that inspired you. That's totally normal. But in a moment, they're going to take a real turn down Wacky Street, and they're basically going to explain to you what it exactly is they are doing, and they are breaking into other dimensions on a small scale. And what I've been warning you about since I started this channel is they're going to break into other dimensions on a large scale. And better yet, they're going to break into other dimensions. They're going to tear a hole in the veil between humanity and spirituality. They're going to use the D-Wave quantum computers that they have daisy-chained all over the planet Earth or the plane Earth, because at this point, that doesn't matter. And they're going to use the D-Wave to maintain. Think about it. It's like a high-speed highway that they're going to open up, and D-Wave's basically going to be the street lights. And they're going to, not only are they going to let other dimensional beings into our reality, they're going to give them physical life. That's what the transhumanist agenda is. That's what all the robots is. That's what all the AI is. That's what all of this is about. But again, I digress.
All related to particle physics as in a multidimensional puzzle. So hi there, I'm 𝗏𝗶𝗱𝗋. I postulated the existence of the neutrino. Neutrino goes through the Atlas detector without being seen.
It goes through the Atlas detector without being seen. You just got to take that on faith. Believe us, it really does. We can't see it, and neither can the detector, but it's there because, well, this handsome young lady just said so. So there's that.
So hi there, I'm 𝗏𝗶𝗱𝗋. I postulated the existence of the neutrino. Neutrino goes through the Atlas detector without being seen. So there is several personalities like this. Oops, where did I go? And etc., etc. So another project. This project has been done by Jeremy Nietzela, Natalia Karina Juska, Stephen Goldfarb, and Maria Dimou. Their idea was to create a visit of the CERN in 2017 by visitors from the future.
Did you catch that? Visitors from the future.
So they wrote a dialogue between us, the physicists from the future, and them, CERN worker from 2017.
Just a side note, it's amazing that the technology they claim they have, and this is the best animation they can come up with. Seriously, my dog can do better, but I digress.
So for example, welcome to CERN. Are you here for a visit? Well, we've been here already. What year are we in? 2017. What kind of question is this? Is CERN a particle physics lab still? Yes, what did you expect? Well, we finished with particle physics around 2165.
So just this person speaking at CERN in front of all the CERN physicists, this tells you exactly what it really is that they are doing. They've said it enough times. I mean, I just can't possibly expand on this enough. They've explained what it is they are doing. They're using D-Wave to communicate with fallen angels that were here once before, that built the original Tower of Babel, that God came down and scattered everyone, because apparently people were overstepping their humanly bounds and building a tower or stairway to heaven. Now, if you think I'm just pulling that out of my ass, keep watching, because they will actually say exactly what I just said, except for the pulling it out of my ass part. But I digress.
What do you mean by that? We figured it all out, but you'll get there. So, show us an experiment. I suggest you go across the street to the globe and meet my friend who will show you Atlas. Okay, see you soon. And then we continue. So we learn a lot of interesting things, and also that Alise discovered via their research in the gluon plasma the explanation of dark matter and dark energy. This is called the White Rabbit discovery, because it's Alise, that allows for reaching places through teleportation, so into the rabbit holes. The third project has been done by Heather Gray, Kitty Lay, and Anna Short.
Now, right here, she goes into how they built a memorial of sorts, a timeline from when CERN first allegedly started up until today. Now, what I am seeing from that, and you probably should too, why would they be building a timeline from start to finish if they hadn't reached their goal? Do you see what I'm saying? She's just explained that they are building a timeline from the very first accelerator, the very first startup until now. The only reason you would do that is if mission accomplished, if you've got your goal in sight, or they're ready to flip the proverbial switch. It explains too why the director of CERN would have attended Bilderberg. That's a fact. That's all there is to it. Nobody attends Bilderberg unless whatever it is they're going to do is going to affect the world. Hence, you have to sit down in front of all the true world leaders, the hidden hand, the gray government, the elites, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them. And that's exactly what it is they've done. And then it flips over to this woman right here. And she's going to show you some pictures, and they're incredibly interesting. And when she speaks, she refers to, it's just like listening to Led Zeppelin backwards when they're singing, and you know sometimes words have two meanings, which is incredible that I just said that, because that actual song is called Stairway to Heaven. And if you play the part backwards, it says words have two meanings. There's a message. Now, this is Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. I really find it odd that I used it as an analogy, and the name of the song actually applies to this perfectly. I'm not going to play Stairway to Heaven forward because I'll get a copyright, but I will play it backwards. So listen to this. If there's a bustle in your head, don't be alone there. Stay sprinkly. You're going to have to read it because I can't play it, because you know what will happen. Now, here we go backwards. Now, the tool shed that he's referring to in this song is the tool shed outside of the home that Aleister Crowley once owned that Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin purchased later in life. But this isn't the main reason I'm doing this video, so let's get back to CERN, shall we? Now, this woman's going to go on and on. She's going to explain everything. 22 member states, 80 participating countries, blah, blah, blah. She's very excited. She goes through the slideshow. On and on and on it goes. And then she starts showing, all the virtues of CERN and how CERN's so great and how it's helped everything. And, they never actually mention what exactly it is that they're doing, but they allude to it an awful lot because they know that for the most part, most people can't hear, see, or wouldn't care anyways. Hi, we're going to tear the veil. People would be like, that's great, as long as I got Saturday off. You know what I mean? People just don't care. But check out these photographs and check out what she says. Look at these photos closely. Ready? Now, this is where she goes back to ancient mythology, and this is where they keep on stressing. CERN is the world's biggest ever scientific project. That's their mission statement. And yet, all they ever show us, all they ever talk about is art, because they use the veil, no pun intended, of art to cover up what they're exactly doing. And they also use art to show us what it is they're doing. So bear with me, listen to this, and look at these pictures because she's showing other dimensions in these pictures, and she basically says it.
Is what I want to show next. You will have the possibility to look at Cassandra's blog offline. It was mentioned here twice already. But I just want to show you some of the pictures here. So
pay attention to this picture because I missed it the first time. She is going to allude to it directly, saying, look at the reflections in the grass. These photos were taken by the woman that first started this video out, the art woman. But look at this photo she took at CERN. Do you notice anything odd in the photo? Right here looks like a ghost picture of computers, a doorway, so forth and so on. And it's not simply the reflection of this because none of these match. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? 4. Yeah, 4 lights right here, but they're not up here. Do you see what I'm saying? And she's going to mention it.
That you can see how we at CERN were always saying, well, c'est moche, mais on s'y est habitué, sort of patience. Whereas Cassandra came at Christmas and took some photos, and you look at them and you are ému, you are sort of moved, because they contain worlds within the simple photographed.
Did you hear what she just said? Let me play it one more time. They contain worlds, worlds, within the photograph, and she's right.
Photographed item. You can see things that are there from reflection in the grass. You can see a ladder that goes to heaven, and it's...
Did you hear that? That's alluding to the Tower of Babel. That is basically verifying everything we've been talking about for years now. This is what we've been comparing CERN to for several years now. The Tower of Babel, or the proverbial stairway to heaven. There's no mistaking, there's no confusing. She is straight up telling you what it is. Why else in the wide world would she call that? It's a stairway, but to her, it's a stairway to heaven. There's other worlds in these pictures, according to her. And then you can see clearly on Christmas Day, on their most celebrated pagan holiday, that people are stupid enough to put a tree in their house, deck it with silver and gold, and then bow down to it numerous times, picking up gifts.
Sort of moved, because they contain worlds within the simple photograph. They contain worlds within the simple photograph, because they contain worlds within the simple photographed item. You can see things that are there from reflection in the grass. You can see a ladder that goes to heaven and
Reflections in the grass. Seriously, because my grass is always reflecting all sorts of things. It's like having a great big mirror in my backyard. Do you understand the gravity of this? Not the gravity that Isaac Newton talked about, the apple falling down. I'm talking about electromagnetics. Do you really understand what this woman's saying? Straight up, right out in the open. They're done. They're ready.
it's sort of like, for me, it was like a picture that shows the devotion of most people who work there. Of course, it's like every other workplace in the earth.
So, according to her, this picture shows the devotion of all the people working at CERN. It's a stairway to heaven. She just said it. That's as close to disclosure as you're ever going to get. And you did hear it here on this channel first, I would suspect.
There are all kinds of people, but there is such a majority of devotion to the projects that it's sort of sublimination de l'environnement. So you can see several of them where you like every other workplace in the earth. There are all kinds of people, but there is such a majority of devotion to the projects that it's sort of sublimination de l'environnement. So you can see several of them where you
Notice how they're showcasing an incredibly chemtrailed sky because the chemtrails tie in with it. They need this highly conductive medium in the sky in order to do what it is they're going to do. And that's exactly why she's showing this. Why in the world would you take a picture where you can't even see the buildings with two bridges between it? So this is one world, this is another world, that's the bridge between it, and that's the medium to get them there. Just my opinion.
Have the impression that it's like the end of the world as we know it, and there is one item left there.
Oh my. I'm doing this live. I'm doing this as I'm listening to it. Did you hear what she just said?
That it's sort of sublimination de la item left there, almost hanging in the air. The end of the world as we know it, and there is one item left there, almost hanging in the air. You have this petite crèche de Noël in the middle of the Geneva winter. You have the top of the hill and you don't know what is beyond, and you can imagine several things. This one reminded me a lot of Peter Doyle, an artist that was exposed in the Beyeler in Basel last year. So I work at CERN so many years. I never noticed all these things are so beautiful. And this is the last one, which was also when the lab was closed and 2016 was ending, and it was written by somebody, or it was you? No. Somebody. We don't know. On the window, I think you can see how an artist can bring out beauty of the things we see and we just don't know.
And yet, when I look at this looks like a nuclear winter. This looks like the end. Do you see what I'm saying? 2016 was the last regular year. 2017, they are indeed going to tear it. I'm positive of it. It makes perfect sense. Why else would CERN's director have to go to Bilderberg in order to prepare them, explain to them what they're going to do? Because this is going to be a worldwide, instantaneous event. And I no longer think that. I know it. And this woman, these women, this whole entire thing, I just found this live stream that just popped up a couple of hours ago. There's barely any views to it. There's 37 views. I just found this and it all makes sense. And I've already alluded to Stairway to Heaven, and oddly enough, so did she. There are no coincidences. Richie from Boston, I'll leave the links in the description. This is insane. Full armor of God should be your only waking thought. because it's all that's going to save you. Ritchie from Boston, I'm out.